Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to an exciting, innovating, and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host and Pearl Dane, the one, the only master of propaganda here of Psych, defender of the fatherland, off here to a 1v1 on Amilly Fields. In the north, it is Augustine fighting for the British Empire, the Commonwealth, the 11th Armoured Division here with special weapons featuring tank hunters, resupply half-tracks, hold the line, crocodiles, and concentrated fire operations. In the south, it is Evsik fighting for the Oberkommando Germany, Deutschland. Here with the 21st Panzerdivision with elite armoured featuring 221s, emergency repairs, Panzer Commander, heat shells, and the Sturm Tiger. A Kugelwagen full to start here for him versus the double section University start for Augustine. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my Patreon supporters, wonderful people on all the Propaganda Legion keeps the Propagandacast going. So thanks to every one of those. Other people can join the ranks by pledge on Patreon. They can donate via PayPal. Links in the description and in the comments. If you're considering pre-ordering Company 3, you can find a link to, well, a place where you can pre-order the game and use the code CoH2 alongside that, and I get 15% off the sale there, so that's a nice way to support me and get the game. And finally, comment, like, share, subscribe for the algorithms. They must be fed. So, section moving westwards here and eastwards. Broad approach here from Augustine as Evsik moves ahead for Deutschland. Likely a fast 2-1 here to put some pressure on the English. From north here, section moving forwards there for Augustine with their Lee Enfield rifles. Universal carry out there. Likely to see the Vickers K added, as that of course is a very popular upgrade on the Universal Carry. There's the Wasp, but most players never bother with it because the Vickers K just has overall more utility while being cheaper. Section moving for the Western Field Point. East, we got the full moving up there for Evsik. Full squad ready here for Evsik. That's 2 squads of infantry. Probably a truck after that into the 2-1 if you go by the most standard Oberkommando elite armor builds. That will earn the 2-1. East side, they're moving up, selling with sandbags there. Kugelwagen flying itself a bit repaired up. Full Grenadier sitting out there. Kugelwagen almost fixed up. Heading for that eastern field point. They're good. Universal move towards the centre. Fun fact, the Germans captured a bunch of universal carriers themselves at Dunkirk, and put, besides converting a bunch of them to be tank destroyers with Panzerschrecks mounted on them, they actually also just stripped a lot of them off the treads and used them to form up the Opel Multi, which is just basically an Opel Blitz with treads. So turning into a half-track basically for the Eastern Front. Officer here being rushed out, folks. Now that's actually pretty rare to see there. Like, the officer's pretty good, but most British players just tend to stick to the infantry sections because they're also pretty good and you don't need to get them as close. But the Augustine here, clearly a believer in the superiority of the British officer in the face of German gunfire. Note here, Evsik hitting the cut-off points here. A nice push there. Certainly one of the things you have to be mindful of on Amilly Fields are these cut-off points here and here and there. Smart player can actually exploit that quite well. In this case, Kugelwagens make that even easy here to achieve for Evsik against Augustine. Looks like he's actually not going to go for the 2-1 perhaps. Like, we're seeing just more and more full screen. There's no truck here for Evsik. Truck on the way, so maybe this is 2-1. We'll see. Kugelwagen up here. East, both fuel pumps under control here of Augustine. So he's off to some good map control there. But obviously, Evsik is looking to make that a bit more difficult to, like, you know, turn into actual fuel income. Vickers here of Augustine. Kugelwagen section, the best going to finish off the Kugelwagen here with its Vickers K mounted on top. The British Army will also use it as a weapons platform besides stuff like flamethrowers and the Vickers K. Some even mounted, I think, light anti-tank guns, and I believe they might even mounted the 50 cal on top of that. So, fairly well universal platform systems used as for a variety of purposes: reconnaissance, tractor, infantry transport. So it's also used in the reconnaissance units. So we see the bunch and they're apparently quite fond of them. So, charging forward for the centre with the Universal and the officer there, Sten guns and Bren and Vickers there, just unleashing hell there. The Fult's quickly falling back here. Obviously, no intention of sticking around with that much fire pouring down on them. And now Augustine hits several points himself, disrupting here F6 fuel income. Battle headquarters up here, no 2-1, so does look like he is in fact not planning on using the armoured car here, which is an interesting choice, which is actually quite rare, I find. Or at least, the common elite armour meta game very much features around an early 2-1. That said, against the British with the AC Mark III, there's arguably more reason to perhaps not consider it. Ultimately, though, we can't quite say what Evsik is thinking. Sturmtiger going there, almost got the Panzerschreck ready, and there you go. Fritz with the Panzerschreck, almost got the Messker there. Nice setup of Evsik. Nice setup. By tunneling that way there, he kept the University around for a bit longer there, giving it the chance to fire off the Panzer and knock it out here. Oh, still gets there though. Nice out there by Evsik in the end, costing Augustine University. Great kill, obviously on the carve point. With their Sten guns, sending being seized by the Volksgrenadier. That definitely gives Augustine here a bit of a tough time. The loss of the University to a Panzer Schreck, quickly salvaging as well there. There you go, the advancing British troops pretty much puts a halt to that salvage attempt here by Evsik. And quickly forces the Sturmpionier to retreat here in the face of the British army. Officer continue to run about here with his Sten guns, his light gun bomb. Catching the Falcons here, that's going to force them away here. Fairly soon. Not Gabaldine, but light gun bomb. North here, we got the second as the Falcons with Eastern victory point. Centre there, we even got a bit of a boost here from the officer with this heroic charge, allowing the section to heroically lay down the sandbags. Such inspiring leadership from the officer. Alright chaps, you got it with those sandbags. Go show those Germans who can lay down sandbags better. Oh, shut up. What was that? Nothing. Got the Vickers about here. Could call in some tank hunter section there. Probably will. Flak half tack 2/3 of the way done here for Evsik. Need to retreat that officer soon before he gets turned into a corpse. Well, go. Quick retreat. Called into artillery on the carve point. Was it smoke? Hard to say. Not like he uses different flares for that, which he probably should. There you go. That's artillery. Got the medics at the ready. Bolster section on the way. They know tank hunter sections. 251-17 flak half track out here for Evsik and the German army. (251-17 flak half track would later in the war be replaced by the flak drilling, which was quite popular with the troops due to mounting a total of 3 either 15 or 20mm anti-aircraft gun, converted from aircraft machine guns, which were quite good at shooting on aircraft, but also I imagine quite good at shooting infantry and light vehicles. There you go. Tank hunter section out in response to the flak half track with their boys anti-tank rifles, which also perform fairly steadily versus infantry. Breaking the sandbags here with a flak half track, obviously a bit excessive to use that on some sandbags here. Mines down here going down from Evsik. At least we've got the tank hunter section moving forwards. Pushed up the field with the section there. In the west, we've got the Kuban making a move for the western field. We've got, of course, the tank hunter section of the Vickers, but there you go, spots both. And decides maybe there are better places to be. Much better places to be. There, nothing going on for Augustine as of yet. Eastern victory will be grabbed here by German infantry. Sappers on the way here for Augustine. Section here bolted up, course being caught by the Volksgrenadier under Evsik command with Sturmgewehrs. Flak half track striking here. Kuban taking a few light hits to the tank hunter section moving forwards. A lot of action here. Cut off one hit there. An aggressive push by Evsik against Augustine. And so far, Evsik clearly enjoys the initiative here versus Augustine. Sturmpionier moving about. Section moving forwards here for the British Empire. Straight into the Sturmpionier. Rocket off. Obviously misses. Tank hunter section pushed down south. But yeah, section might retreat in the face of the flak half track as they are absolutely not flak proof. In the southeast, Kuban here is the officer. But yeah, in this way, I mean, Evsik is just denying Augustine a lot of resources, making things very tough here for Augustine. We've got more mines here, sappers rushing forwards. Tank hunter section almost got the western victory point. Kuban being pushed off by the officer, unable to breach the power of the sandbags with a little machine gun. I imagine Augustine's plan is just to move for some armor here versus Evsik as fast as possible. Of course, this ensures that Evsik is getting plenty of fuel, thus allowing him to push for armor. He's looking to flank around here the flak half track, staying clear of the points, so doesn't give it away here to Evsik before it's too late. There we go. One anti-tank rifle hit there on the flak half track. Also, the Volksgrenadier, Garen bomb off there.
Enemy causing trouble, trying to take one of our points.
Recapturing some points. Still got the Sturmpionier guarding the carve point, and we got a half track out here for Augustine, opening up for some Piet he wants to, but also the Vickers K. And also, gives them an opportunity to like just hunt down the flak half-track more aggressive as anti-tank troops, since, you know, they can fire from inside the half-track and keep up with the flak half-track, which may in fact here be Augustine's purpose. So that a more aggressive, tank hunter team here. Taking the Twisted Tootsie approach, if Twisted Tootsie was British. Now the track there for Evsik, that will be the Schwerer Panzer quarters most likely, plus Raketenwerfer, obviously concerned about British vehicles like the AC Mark III, or perhaps, you know, a tank hunter section. There's some mobilised here in a half-track. There you go. Okay, he's going to pop that in there as well. Yup, and then he's going to go flak-track, half-track hunting. Alright, chaps, just like at the hunting club. Wait, you have hunting clubs? Disregard that. Oh, wait, what do you mean you're hunting those hunting clubs? I said disregard! Are you hunting people? Silence! You'll have an accident. In fact, you may just have that anyways. Panthers and half-tech smoke ends up messing things up there for Augustine a bit here. Close call there for F6 flak. Half-tech could still go down now. Almost got it here. Both of them being pushed back. Going to take a very long route ahead of the flak half-track. Unless the pathing betrays him. I mean, that could happen. Oh, jeez. Right into the tank hunter section there. Either that was a misclick or the pathing betrayed him.
Unfortunately, we've lost a unit.
Classic betrayed by pathing trope. Western field point there defended by the Vex, need to grab up at least from neutral, but still getting rid of the flak half-track and trading only a half-track forward is like, you know, pretty decent for Augustine. Not amazing, but, you know, it's not the worst. It's not the worst by far, though, of course, losing the sappers as well. Suddenly, it looks a lot less great here for the British and the 11th Armoured. And he goes for a second half-track. Now, that feels a bit more excessive. Probably at this point should be more concerned taking up. At the same time, the half-track is fairly cheap and obviously gives him some advantages. So I don't blame him for going for a second half-track here, but it's definitely not what I think most British players would have gone for under these circumstances. So there you go, another M3 half-track out. Note that the British really only received M5 half-tracks from the Americans, as the Americans kept all the M3s to themselves because, well, most of them anyways, they were considered better due to having overall better armour, thus better protection for the ones on the inside. To the section there, Banhunt gun released against the Tommies. Let's see as well. Oh, that's a concussive grenade actually.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
There you go, second half track ready. Another mechanized tank hunter team there to take on the German menace. This time the Kubelwagen. Almost got the Kubelwagen. Kevin was all trouble here. Well, if the Raketenwerfer Kuban gets away, that's pretty lucky there for Evsik. Pretty fortunate, even.
Damned enemies trying to take a point from us.
It's got to be a bit of a drat swimmer there for Augustine. They got away again. No still tech here for Augustine. This is great for Evsik, who himself has got the Schwer Panther quarters up. Cause a note where he has nicely positioned it within his base, so he doesn't risk like the British moving out and destroying it. Thumbs up there to Evsik. Orbison first in with some authorization on the way there. That's going to give him a lot of infantry to match Augustine on the front line here. In fact, overmatch him. Van Hand gun it off there. Grabbing the eastern point here. Once more denying Evsik precious fuel. Good for Augustine. And we got the opposite charging forwards here, more engagements here. West side there's kind of forgotten. I don't think Augustine would benefit more from being in there some forces. Or Evsik could of course try and launch a larger offensive through the west. But he's clearly being drawn to the east here, but Augustine pushes there. And the half-track is definitely proven to be a very handy asset for Augustine. He's also finally taking up himself. Very good there, unless of course you are the German player. You do not want the Brit player to take up against you. But again, the thing about the Brits is they basically only got 3 tiers or 2 tiers, even if you want, like, you know, extra cheeky, and they also like some of the most easy and accessible tiers there. So the Brits can typically like get ahead to the final tier there pretty fast. Got the offset with the Vickers K. Half-tech veterans 1, 2 kills.
A capture point
Yeah, the double fuel points is a big thing here for Augustine. Can allow him to just rush out to Cromwell's centre right now versus Evsik. And that's obviously going to be tough to deal with for Evsik, but it does set the Academy up in a Panzerschreck. Going at the bloody Germans there. Tank holding up against the advance here for Evsik for the centre here. Evsik, I think, really needs to get some of those fuel points back under his control, not just to get more fuel for himself, but also deny Augustine all the fuel that's currently incoming. Like, he can pretty soon go for the centre Cromwell here, and either would be, I think, the uncomfortable news for Evsik, in particular the centre. Would be very uncomfortable news.
Our infantry are ready to hold the line.
So far, Augustine is not making any sort of particular point to rush out Armour there versus Evsik, which is very fortunate for him. Got the Orbs on the move here, though, where they're MG-34 and the Kar-90Ks. Officer 32 backed up at the half-track. Officer Assault here is not quite working out there. He's taking too much damage here from all the nearby Germans. Particularly the Obersten is a definite issue for the officer's continued survival and, of course, chances of promotion while still alive. Close to victory in the officer, sent out 1/3 of the way done.
We're losing a capture point.
Hill firing down there. Aftering up support here with the tank hunter section in the back. There you go, Ken with shoots, misses the half track though. My god, Otto, it's the size of a house. How did you miss that? Well, it's a very small house then. Click for the fuel point again. EV's moved there by Augustine. And we got the center, and that again is going to be a significant headache here for Evsik. Its anti-infability is pretty potent. So if well handled, it could give Evsik some incredible casualties he has to worry about. Quick kill there on the foots with the tank hunter section there. Half-tech just gaining experience passively here. Which draws a large reinforcement from further away once it hits the high levels of veterancy. Sturmpion in the flank here, having to push back the Tommies around the centre. Centre rolling forward steadily here. The German left flank looking very exposed here. Evsik definitely needs, like, you know, I think change up his tactics a bit here. There's Augustine there. Go Sturmpion being caught by the centre. And in fact, there's a good chance of wipe here from the centre. But maybe, just maybe, there we go. Evsik has a bit of fortune there, smile upon him. And he avoids a total loss there to bring up another Kenner, because he's nowhere close to like any tank to really push back against the centre now. He needs one to tank weapons to survive. He's the Fulton catching the officer here, or the officer catching the Fulton is. Half-tech also getting vetted too. And that's just a treat there from Evsik. Obviously, to pursue that engagement any further would just been a waste of manpower and free experience for the officer. So there you go, second Academy ready here for Evsik and the 21st Panzer Division. Oberson busy with the centre. He said we got the full thing pushed back with the officer on the half-track. Overall solid usage of mechanized MT Augustine so far. Certainly highlights the benefits of it. Sappers on the way there for Augustine. This is the ones he already has. Well, a better deal, of course, he assists in repairing the centre faster, which is always a good thing. Question is, what is Augustine planning next? Another centre? Cromwell? Comets? Churchill tanks? Crocodiles? I mean, there's plenty of options here and routes for Augustine to pursue right now versus Evsik. Of course, the question is just which does he pursue? So there you go. Eastern Fuel Point once more falling into the hands of the British Empire. Almost got the half-track there, close call for Augustine, but he's able to get it out of there. In fact, it's halfway to the east level. Going up the west side to find here for the Kugelwagen, which is, by the way, still alive here for Evsik. That is kind of impressive. The push for the Eastern Fuel Point. We got the Leichten von Schutz also joining in the fight here. So far, not really getting a lot of kills against the English. Not really seeing much in terms of lethality. Officer right in the east. Small win there for Evsik, but he needs a lot more small wins to really pull towards an actual major win. Tank undertaking has the Kugelwagen. They could take it out this time around. Will the Kugelwagen escape? And looks like the answer to that is yes. It lives to see another day once more.
The capture point is being overrun.
Panther for Mollier there for Evsik. Line for gun firing. We're full to flank around here. Sturm Peony moving up. So firing down. Oh! That was pretty unlucky. Just hit right into the artillery shot there. And then got kept caught here by the center. Could get wiped out. Yeah, good chance of that, in fact. Let's set there's a second cav nearby that's going to likely take out the center here with the Panzer Strike as well. If he's unlucky. Or if Evsik is very lucky. And there you go. Didn't even need that. The center is down. Great kill here for Evsik. Caught Augustine there a bit too relaxed here versus him. Thumbs up. Definitely makes things a bit tough here for Augustine. Still no sign of anything here. No hammer, no anvil, no additional armor. On the other hand, he does have a significant victory point lead over Evsik here. Oh! And a lot of British dying in that corner in particular from explosives. And a wipe here inflicted on Augustine. Sappers there, expire, there you go. Panther 4 engaging the Sappers, quickly killing Thompson. Should add some upgrades to the Panther 4. We'll hope he goes for the Panther Commander. He does. Officer meanwhile keeps up his charge. Has 7 kills, 8 slow, but the Panther 4, of course, is a significant obstacle for the officer's continued survival. In the west side, we've got the Fultz with the Tank Hunter section. Tank Hunter section, they're getting Brandhunt grenaded, which should allow the Fultz a chance to win here. Panther 4 going in, might just try and get a wipe. He's also cancelled the Panther Commander, probably to a 14 centimeter grenade, indicating the pressure there's on the F6 economy here. And Augustine goes for a Cromwell here. I was starting to expect a Comet here, honestly, or Churchill tank or anything like that. But yeah, Cromwell is fine. Just could have had that out sooner then. So I don't know, feels a bit inefficient. And double sections in the half track of the Vickers K's. Could have formed up a more mobile anti-tank team to help pursue the Panther 4 maybe. But I guess Augustine has other dreams, other plans. Evsik moving up the eastern side. In the center, we've got German troops moving forwards. Panther on the move as well here. Going to the Tank Hunter section. Quick shot there through the side armor. Which technically, of course, was actually added to the German Panzers to in particular help deal with anti-tank rifles. And actually did its work quite well. Panther will shoot the Sappers. Sappers gets a shot there through the side armor of the Panther with the Piats. Second shot kind of whiffs there. But the Sappers are nonetheless routed as they ult up against Obersoldaten. You definitely do not mess around with that in the open. After being pushed back here, super close to the ace level. Augustine wants to maybe at half time, but there you go, pushing forward against the Panther 4 here with the Cromwell and some anti-tank troop, but there are Ken members nearby here. And it's different to like support the Cromwell here. Oh, that's a full wipe here from the officer and the Fultz squad. They're completely obliterated. Great kill here for Augustine here, making a mess here of F6 frontline forces. That said, the opposite can hold the frontline against the advancing Englishmen here at the Inslaven half-track ace level, but is also about to, you know, explode. There you go, forgot about doing the fighting here. Great kill here for Evsik. Didn't just get rid of his full unit. Nonsense. But he did get rid of the half-track despite losing a unit there, turning a bit around here still. That's going to hurt Augustine, losing, costing him so much mobility here versus the Germans. Now he might even lose the Cromwell here. Yup. There we go. Looks like there might just be way forward to Evsik. Oh, he just lost the Kenmap here. Augustine just keeps up the casualties on Evsik, even he's losing his own units. Losing the Kenmap in particular is going to be painful there for Evsik. Half point hit as well. Good play by Evsik. Thumbs up. Excellent. Again, keeping an eye on the carve point, I think is very sharp. Fultz going to do here versus Sappers. Piats versus Sturmgewehrs. Obviously, the German infantry should have the advantage here. Bramless and Kuhlwagen again with the Western victory point with the Kuhlwagen. Well, that was nonsense. That was utter nonsense, gentlemen. East side, we got the Fultz with the section here. Vickers K's versus Sturmgewehrs and K90 K's. Ultimate over the arrival of Obersalon as well. The engagement is won in favour of Deutschland, and Augustine's men are sent packing across the fields. In the west, Tank Hunter section. And after moving up here, Sappers laying down mines, like of course disrupt any further German attempts to get that. And we got more Obersalon here for Evsik as he continues to be a great believer in having a lot of infantry. Advancing the centre, you got the assault officer holding against the German assault here. The Obersalon approaching veteranly free here. Officer sees one of his men drop dead behind him, and he keeps out the fight for the British Empire. Still firing down here as well here, complicating the situation for the officer. As the Germans keep up the assault here. No armour yet there for Augustine. No hammer, no anvil. No Cromwell, no centaur.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
We got 176 with the 331. Evsik here continues to lag behind Augustine the victory points, and Augustine, of course, keeps up the job here and just bleeding out Evsik of victory points. Sam's going into the section that needs to be careful. Close to losing that one. I feel like this Vickers, though, could be a lot more active there. Augustine, obviously, I get what he's doing here with it, but the opponent's clearly not doing anything there anyways. It's like, you know, he could be doing more with it elsewhere.
We're losing a capture point.
I feel like this is one of the, you know, slight oversights there of Augustine, that it's not helping him.
Enemy causing trouble. Trying to
Routed by the might of the Panzerkampfwagen. Unit wiped here by a mine. Another blow there to Evsik, but he's got an increasingly large number of Obersoldaten, so not too huge a blow there to lose a full squad, though at the same time, obviously should be careful about not throwing away. And we got plenty of mines here still from Augustine and even from Evsik.
A capture point is being overrun.
150 members of 331. No sign of anything there yet from Augustine in terms of the additional armor. As for Evsik, well, who knows, but could be another Panther here, so it would make sense, particularly with the heat shield he's got access to. The Panther becomes quite good there. Kuhwagen needs there, eventually free, but it's also in a really bad place, and I think there's a good chance here that Augustine will finally destroy the Kuhwagen. Oh no! The Kuhwagen lives again! Good golly, and the rest of the Panther going for the Vickers now punishing here. Augustine for leaving it so far long inside there. Got Lekedman on the spot with the Sturm Punic, quick to put a stop to that. Volksgun is pushing forwards. Still no upgrade for the Panther 4, by the way. No Panzer Commander or Pindermount Machine and Gewehr. Then I think that may just be the NT of Augustine's Vickers machine gun team, unless he gets very lucky. I mean, that could happen, but it didn't happen. Now the question, okay, he's going to grab it. I was about to say that or salvage it. Eastern filming grab with the officer again, but yeah, things looking tough there for Augustine. We got another Cromwell away from him and the British Empire. Evsik meanwhile can go for the Panther 4 here, or Jagdpanzer. I think, honestly, both would be solid choices, but the Panther 4 right now would be the superior choice. It could be he's planning for the Panther here, which is fine. It certainly does perform better with access to heat shells himself, but, I mean, you know, might as well just go for the Panther 4 then anyways. Piet dropped here. Tank Hunter section in some very deep trouble here. He's got the Obersoldaten and the Panther 4 ripping them apart here. Pindermount machine gun being added to the Panther 4 on the west side here. Section heroically defends the field point there from German advances. Lekedman sent packing here. Panther 4 pushing ahead for Deutschland. Pindermount machine ready as well there.
A capture point is being overrun.
Second Cromwell almost done. We got the line gun being pursued here by Augustine's assault officer. The Sten guns and Vickers KZ. Line gun wiped out, small win, and we got the Kuhwagen once more back to taunting the officer. Closing on the east level here on the opposite instead, we got the Cromwell there striking for the British Empire. There you go, nice use of smoke here by Augustine to cover the retreat of the remaining section member. But the Kuhwagen finally has met its match here. It will finally go down. He even threw a grenade at it. Just die, why won't you? Die! No, Lieutenant, don't throw the grenade. It's a waste. Boom. Clearly, Augustine wanted that Kuhwagen dead. No, the king himself wanted that Kuhwagen dead. The king.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
Panther 4 there, close to Vetchany 2. Sounds being ripped apart, almost wiped out. Then integrating the Cromwell, Vetchany 2 gained. Nice shot there. Panther 4 suffering further damage. Close shot there. So we got 150 from 273. Augustine's situation is looking Well, a lot less nice now, and Evsik apparently decided, you know what, let's just escalate this as aggressively as possible and goes for Sturmtiger. I mean, that's obviously an option as well. It's obviously an option as well.
Losing a capture point.
Yeah, looking tough for Augustine again, a lack of armor, just never really pulled that advantage when he had it. Seemed there was some indecision, maybe he was planning Crocodile or something else, but just never went there. And now he just keeps sort of, shall we say, trickling in tanks, but never really building up an arm advantage either, because he then proceeds again, say, up for something big, doesn't get it, loses his tank, has to replace it, and sort of gets stuck into his, like, you know, sort of weird pattern. So I feel like just Augustine is not making up his mind soon. Okay, no crew that wiped out. Good killer by the machine gun and the Panther 4. Sturmtiger here moving about. Looks like he's going to try and flank up behind Augustine and maybe fire for a hell of a rocket shot there. Yeah, looks like it. Get a bit awkward here for Augustine. Get a bit awkward. Actually, we just drive straight into the base and fire into the base there. Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's going to do there. He's just like all in the base going, what's that? I got to fire a bit further in there. Cromwell down as well, but yeah, I think with that, Augustine is out of the match. So there you go. With a second sun setting inside of Augustine's base, the match has been won by the German army. Some nice back and forth action, some fierce map control. But in the end, again, I feel like Augustine just never quite figured out what he wanted to do in the late game. He just sort of kind of did that about. Whereas Evsik clearly knew what he wanted and he exploited it, I think, quite well there. So GG, game over. Hope you enjoyed this match or learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell a friend, tell a family, but don't your enemies. This is Imperial Nation. Cheers. Thank you all for watching. Hope you'll tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.